Hi everyone, my name's Nina Camplin and welcome to another one of my Paint Along with Nina sessions. This week I've been asked to do something about portraits. So what I'm going to do is just give you a few kind of helpful hints and tips. I don't actually consider myself to be a portrait painter, but I have done quite a few portraits, and I think it's more about observation than it is about any kind of skill or talent. You can learn the skills. So I'm going to start with showing you proportions of a face. So I've got a piece of watercolour paper here, and I'm just using charcoal to draw it out. So to start with, I'm going to draw the outline of the face. It's not quite a circle, it's more kind of an upside down egg shape. Okay, so that's a general shape for a face. And then you need kind of a centre line for a line of symmetry for the face. And then the next thing I'm going to put in is a horizontal line about halfway down. This is the line where the eyes will actually appear. And then halfway between the centre line and the chin, you can do another guide for halfway down. And that is the bottom of the nose. And then a third between that line and the bottom of the chin that's the line the mouth will appear on. So what I'm going to do now is put in the eyes. And when you're looking at a head directly facing you, there is a general rule of thumb for the eyes being the distance between the eyes is similar to the distance or the width of the eye, and the same between the eye and the edge of the head. So you're looking at dividing that width into kind of 5 sections. So and then the eyes will go in. So you've got another eye width here and another eye width here. Okay, and then you're looking at putting the nose in down here. So you've got nostrils, and then you've got roughly about there. And then the mouth falls on the line that comes about a third of the way between the nose and the chin. And the width of the mouth usually falls somewhere under the eyes. So you might have a wider mouth or you might have a narrower mouth. But a rough guide is to go perhaps about a third into the width of the eye. So if you look down from there and from there, and then you've got the mouth. Roughly about there. Then if you think about the ears, again, they will vary a bit, but as a rough guide, the top of the ears are usually about on the same level as the eyes, so we'll start about there. And the bottom of them come down to about the same level as the nose. So you're looking at about there. It's just a rough guide. This is probably too round. It should be a bit narrower, but never mind. This would be, say, a child's head. Children's heads are always a lot rounder. And then obviously you get the hairline in, which comes anywhere around there. And then the hair may go above the top line of the head. So you could come down like that. And then when you get the shoulders in, the shoulders line up roughly around where the edges of the eyes are. So you come down to like there. And then you've got a rough guide for your head. Now when someone asked me about doing portrait painting, I didn't want to do an actual portrait because every single portrait is going to be different. So it depends what kind of result that you want to get as well. If you're looking at doing realistic skin tones, they can be very difficult to match up to the subject that you're painting, and you can very often get tubes of what they call flesh tint. Now these can be a really good base for you to use, so if you want to start with this instead of say white, at least you've already got a basis there to start adding to. But the way I usually work is I'll get a selection of colours and usually start with the white and just add very minimal amounts of pigment to the white, because it gets strong very, very quickly. So if I show you, if you've got the white there and we add a little bit of cadmium yellow to it, and then a tiny bit of, see, that's already gone too much, tiny bit of crimson, starting to already look like a skin tone. You could add a bit of burnt umber if you want to knock it back a bit, and if you feel it's still too bright, you could start adding a bit of ultramarine to knock it back a bit more. The more colours you add from different sides of the colour spectrum, the more it's going to go into a kind of greyish brown colour. So what I'd like to do is, and this is not the way that a lot of portrait artists will work. Many of them will work from kind of one area of the face outwards. But what I tend to do is I tend to try and get an overall colour in first. So I'll mix up quite a lot of the base colour, and then I will colour the whole face first, just to A, to kill off the white of the canvas, and B, so that the same colour is kind of throughout the whole face. It makes it a lot easier to make the colours harmonious. So if I just colour this in, it's going to pick up a bit of the charcoal. I'll take it up into the hairline a little bit as well. What I'm also going to do is go across the eyes and the mouth with it. So I've got basic flat colour down now. Then what you need to start doing, if you use the same colour that you've mixed up, and the less colours that you can use to make the actual skin colour, the more likelihood you are going to be able to match it in again when you'll start putting in detail. Because if you use too many colours, you'll find that you get just too many colours going on in the skin, and they won't gel together. So I'm going to take this colour and I'm going to add a bit of the burnt umber to it and a bit of the ultramarine, just to darken it down. A bit more of that. And then I'm going to start looking at where I've got my shading. So if I say my light's coming in from this direction, the shading is going to be on this side of the face. It will also go underneath the eyebrows and to the side of the nose, and of course you get a shadow underneath the nose as well, and underneath the mouth, and underneath the chin, and then start looking at the highlights. So again, using your same base colour but adding in a lot more white. So when you look at a face, the light tends to pick up on all the parts that are more prominent, like on the nose and the cheeks. So you can see it's starting to look a little bit three-dimensional. Now, what I would suggest, if you are going to do a portrait, the easiest way to do it is to use Photographic Reference and do a blow up of it, so you've got that as a guide for your basis. And I would always trace it off. I know a lot of artists don't like using that method of working, but I just see it as a guide so that you get everything in exactly the right place. So you only need to do a guide for yourself where the eyes go, where the nose falls and where the mouth is. And then you can start observing your photograph. Now do bear in mind that these are very basic colours for skin tone. Now skin tone is, every portrait you do will be different. Skin colour is affected by what kind of light the model is sitting under, what kind of surroundings that the model has around them. So if you're painting someone who's in a garden and there are a lot of leaves around them, they're going to pick up a lot of green in their skin tones. So bear that in mind and try to look at what you're painting rather than painting what you know is there. Be very observational about it. If you get to a point where you think something's not looking right, I've always found a really way of showing how your errors are when you're not picking up. You know something's wrong, but you're not quite picking up what is wrong with it. If you hold a mirror to your drawing, if you look at it in a mirror, it throws everything around in the opposite way. So anything that's wrong is going to immediately jump out to you as being even more wrong when you see it the other way around. So please do have a go. I know this has been only a short session, but realistically, when you do portraits, you could spend a couple of sessions just showing how to do eyes or mouths or features of the face. And I just wanted to help someone who's starting out and just wants some basic tips on how to start doing portraits. So I hope you found this helpful. And please, if you do any portraits of your own, please do post them on my page. I'd love to see them. And I'll see you all again next week. Bye.